Have you ever felt that it gets harder with age to tell who truly cares and who's just using you? In our younger years, we often brush off insincere intentions, but as we age, the consequences of misplaced trust grow heavier and the damage cuts deeper. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 types of people you must never fully trust in old age. This isn't about turning you into someone bitter or closed off. On the contrary, it's about helping you protect your peace, energy, and dignity. Now, you may be wondering what this has to do with a message by someone like Sadhguru. Well, many of his teachings revolve around awareness, seeing people and life for what they are, not what we wish them to be, and that's exactly the lens we'll use here, because in truth, aging doesn't just bring wisdom, it exposes the masks others wear. Some of the people you're about to hear about may already be around you, a friend, even a neighbor who seems too generous. But if you don't learn how to spot these patterns, you could find yourself slowly drained of not only your resources, but your sense of self. This video is especially for those of us in our 60s, 70s, or 80s who still believe that life can be peaceful, but only if we're mindful of who we let too close. We'll break down each type of person, how they behave, what psychological patterns they play on, and how to quietly protect yourself without guilt. So, if you've ever felt confused about someone's intentions or sensed that something was off but couldn't put your finger on it, stay with me. Because what we're about to go through might not just validate your feelings, it could save you from a painful regret down the line. Number 1, the flatterer who disguises self-interest as love. There's a kind of person who always knows the right thing to say, at least on the surface. They praise you often, speak gently, and always seem available when they want something. These people wear charm like a suit, but behind it is calculation. They're not showing up because they love you. They're showing up because they want access. Access to your time, your resources, or your approval. The danger here isn't in their presence, it's in how easily they make you question your instincts. Many older adults are especially vulnerable to flattery because we're often dismissed or overlooked. So when someone suddenly gives us attention, we lean in. We want to believe it's sincere, but flattery, especially when it's unearned or constant, is rarely about love. It's about disarming you. Psychologically, this is called impression management. They're building a favorable image of themselves, not for your benefit, but for theirs. And over time, they'll create a dynamic where you feel obligated. You may start giving small favors, money, or emotional energy because they've always been so kind. But real kindness doesn't create debt. Real kindness doesn't manipulate. Take Walter, a 74-year-old retired engineer who shared his story in a local senior forum. After his wife passed, he started getting help from a younger woman in his apartment building who offered to run errands and clean. She was warm, attentive, always smiling. He trusted her so much he started giving her small amounts of money to thank her. Within a year, she was asking for thousands, using words like, "You're like a father to me." When he finally said no, she vanished without a word. This isn't rare. Older adults are often targeted emotionally before anything material is even requested. So if someone always flatters you, but their kindness comes with a subtle pressure, or always seems to lead to a request, step back. Ask yourself, if I didn't give them anything, would they still be here? You don't owe anyone your trust just because they smile sweetly or say the right things, especially not in this stage of life, when your energy and attention should be spent on people who've proven their care over time, not performed it. Number 2. The chronic complainer who sucks your joy. Some people don't just bring their problems, they carry them like a badge. Every time you talk to them, something is wrong. Their health, their children, the news, the world. Nothing ever goes right, and they're sure to remind you of that. What starts as sympathy quickly becomes emotional exhaustion. You begin to dread their phone calls, brace yourself before visits, and even question your own happiness. Because around them, joy feels inappropriate. In older age, your emotional reserves aren't unlimited. You've spent decades offering your energy to work, family and friends, and now more than ever your time is precious. The danger with chronic complainers is that their negativity is contagious. Psychologists call this emotional contagion, the idea that another person's mood can actually alter your own mental state. If someone is constantly venting, criticizing, or catastrophizing, it activates your own stress response, even if you're not directly involved. Over time, that stress builds. It weighs on your immune system, your sleep, even your digestion. But more than that, it steals your light. The small joys, a good meal, a sunny morning, a kind gesture, become harder to feel because their voice lingers in your mind, pointing out what's wrong instead of what's good. For example, Helen, a 79-year-old widow from Oregon, used to spend every Sunday afternoon with an old friend from church. But that friend began using those visits to complain about her children, her neighbors, the state of the country. Helen, who was trying to rebuild her own peace after loss, noticed her mood sinking after every visit. She started questioning if life was actually as bad as it seemed. Only after taking a break did she realize how heavy the emotional load had become. You're not heartless for protecting your peace. You're wise. Compassion doesn't mean setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. It's okay to set boundaries. You can say, I care about you, but I need our time together to be lighter. Can we focus on something good today? If they can't, you have every right to step back. Surround yourself with people who lift, not drain. In this stage of life, joy isn't optional. It's essential to your health and spirit. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. The sweet talker with hidden intentions. It always starts with a compliment. You look wonderful today. You're the wisest person I know. I just love how kind you are. At first, it feels good. Who doesn't like being appreciated, especially in a stage of life where you're not often the center of attention? But if you look closer, there's a pattern. The kind words always come before a request, before a favor, before a hand reaches toward your wallet, your time, or your trust. These are the people who weaponize kindness. They study what makes you feel valued, then use it to get what they want. And in older age, you become a prime target. Why? Because scammers don't always look like strangers on the internet. Sometimes they're family, neighbors, even caregivers. The danger lies not in their words, but in the gap between their words and their actions. It's a psychological principle called reciprocity bias. When someone gives us something, flattery, attention, affection, we naturally feel compelled to give something back. That's how the human brain is wired. But manipulative people exploit that. They make you feel safe, seen, understood, until the bill comes due. Let's take an example. A 72-year-old man named George lived alone in a quiet neighborhood. His new neighbor, a young woman in her 30s, would often drop by with baked goods and conversation. She listened patiently to his stories and told him how smart and generous he was. Over time, she began asking for favors, small errands, help with bills, a little cash to tide her over. George, grateful for the company, obliged. It wasn't until his son reviewed his bank account months later that the pattern became clear. It wasn't kindness, it was grooming. This isn't about becoming cynical, it's about being discerning. There are wonderful people who speak kindly and mean every word, but even then, you must look for alignment between speech and behavior. Do their actions match their praise? Do they respect your boundaries or only show up when they want something? In this phase of life, your intuition is your greatest asset. You've seen enough to know when something feels a little too smooth, when someone is too eager, too perfect. Listen to that instinct, and remember, true friends don't need to butter you up before they value your presence. You are already enough. You don't need to earn your place in someone's life with money, time, or approval. Trust isn't given because someone flatters you. It's earned through consistency, integrity, and care over time. Number 4, the one who pretends to know what's best for you. They sound helpful at first. I'm just looking out for you. At your age, you should really listen to someone younger. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. They speak with confidence. They act like they've got it all figured out. But here's the problem. They treat your experience as if it's expired, as if once you turn 70, your ability to think, decide, and live for yourself suddenly vanished. These are the people who confuse concern with control, and it often hides behind phrases that sound caring. But if you listen closely, it's not about helping you, it's about managing you, about making your decisions for you. Whether it's your money, your medicine, or your personal life, they slowly chip away at your voice. This happens far too often in families. A 68-year-old woman named Linda had always been independent. She handled her finances, cooked her meals, stayed active in her community. But after a small fall, her adult daughter began taking over everything. At first, Linda appreciated the help. But then her daughter started changing doctors without asking, selling her car, cancelling her gym membership. "It's for your own good," she'd say. But it didn't feel good. It felt like being erased. Psychologically, this is rooted in paternalism, the belief that people, especially older adults, need to be protected from themselves. It's often unintentional. It can come from love. But the impact is the same. Your choices, your voice, your autonomy slowly disappear. If you've ever felt like someone is speaking for you more than listening to you, pay attention. If your opinion gets ignored, if decisions are made without asking, if you feel like a guest in your own life, those are red flags. No matter your age, you have the right to choose how you live. Yes, support is valuable. Yes, we all need a little help sometimes. But help should lift you up, not silence you. The best kind of care is partnership, not command. It's asking, not assuming, respecting, not replacing. If someone truly cares for you, they'll listen before they act. They'll ask how you feel, what you want, and what matters to you. And if you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, the person who only shows up when they need something. They don't call to say hello. They don't check on how you're feeling. They don't show up for your birthday or stop by just to share a cup of coffee. But the moment they need money, a place to stay, a favor, or even just someone to vent to, they remember your number. This type of person exists in almost every family, every neighborhood, and unfortunately, often in our own circle of so-called friends. They operate on a one-way street. They come to take, not to give. And the older you get, the more they assume your resources, your time, or your willingness to help are unlimited. But what they don't see, what they choose not to see, is your emotional cost. There was a man named Charles, 73 years old, who lived alone after his wife passed. His nephew hadn't contacted him in over a year, not even a card during the holidays. But when that nephew lost his job, suddenly Charles was getting messages every day, asking for help with bills, for a place to crash, for gas money. And when Charles hesitated, the guilt-tripping began. "You're the only family I have left. I thought you loved me." It broke Charles's heart, not because he didn't want to help, but because he finally saw the pattern for what it was. Psychologically, this behavior is called instrumental socialization. Some people learn to treat others like tools. They're only valuable when they serve a purpose. And when that purpose is gone, so is the relationship. This leaves seniors vulnerable, not just financially, but emotionally too. Because every time it happens, it confirms a dangerous lie, that you're only worthy when you're useful. But you are not a tool. You are not a backup plan. Your kindness is not a weakness, it's a gift. And it should be met with gratitude, not entitlement. If you start noticing that someone only appears when they need something, when their problems become your responsibility, but they vanish when you're in need, it's time to protect your energy. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. Being generous is beautiful, but so is having boundaries. And when you set them, you don't push others away. You teach them how to treat you with dignity. Final thoughts. Getting older doesn't mean becoming suspicious of everyone. But it does mean becoming more selective. After all you've lived through, you deserve peace. You deserve relationships that feel mutual, not manipulative. You've spent a lifetime giving your time, your care, your attention. And now, more than ever, you need to make sure that what you're giving is going to people who respect it. The truth is, many seniors were raised in a time when loyalty, obligation, and family duty were sacred. And they still are, but not when they're used as tools for guilt. Not when they lead you to sacrifice your own well-being just to keep someone else comfortable. Boundaries are not fences to keep people out. They are lines that keep your heart safe. And in this season of life, peace of mind is just as important as physical health. So take a quiet moment and ask yourself, who in your life truly shows up when it matters? Who makes you feel safe, respected, and heard? And who leaves you drained, confused, or questioning your own worth? It's okay to distance yourself from people who don't treat you right, even if they're close in blood, because respect is not automatic, it's earned. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.